In the previous video, we saw that legislative makes laws in the decision-making process. So who takes the in charge of execution of these laws? The executive. And who forms the executive? The Prime Minister? Yes, he is the head of the executive. He takes the final decisions, but not as per his own wish, but as per the wishes of the members of Parliament. The Council of Ministers, yes, they are also part of executive because they help to execute these laws in different sectors. For example, some minister heading the Ministry of Agriculture, someone education, someone could be heading the finance sector and so on. So who else forms the part of executive? The civil servants, yes. So they carry out the orders from the ministers and help to carry out daily administrative activities. So in this lesson, we are going to talk more about political executive. So executive comes under two categories: political executive, who are elected by the people for a specific period of time, and permanent executive, who are appointed on a long-term basis. So who are the political executive? The ministers, the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers, whereas the permanent executive consists of the civil servants. The permanent executive is generally more educated than the political executive. However, the permanent executive always works under the political executive. Now you may ask why? If they are more educated, then why do they work under political executive? Now, as we all know that in a democracy, people's choice is the priority. So the same happens here in India. So the political executive is chosen by the people. So they are people's choice. So people believe that they are capable enough to take the final decisions and run the country. However, the political executive are free to take opinions or suggestions from the permanent executive because they are experts in the respective fields. The Prime Minister. The Prime Minister is the head of the executive or the head of the government. In fact, when we use the term government, it actually refers to the executive. Prime Minister has supreme powers. He is not directly elected by the people. The President appoints the Prime Minister. However, the President just cannot appoint anyone of his choice to become the Prime Minister of the country. He has to appoint the leader of the majority party or the leader who gets majority in Lok Sabha to become the Prime Minister of the country. Let us quickly take a look at the roles of a Prime Minister. He chairs the cabinet meetings. He assigns work to other ministers and also supervises them. If we look at the hierarchy, all the other ministers who handle different departments, they all report to the Prime Minister, and under each of these ministers, we have a hierarchy of civil servants and government employees. Because of this hierarchy, the Prime Minister can coordinate the functioning between different departments as well. The Prime Minister has the power to dismiss ministers if needed. In fact, in a parliamentarian form of government, the Prime Minister has so much of power that a parliamentarian form of government is also known as a prime ministerial form of government. Having talking about the powers of a Prime Minister, it becomes important to understand the slight difference that a Prime Minister of a single majority party has and the Prime Minister of a coalition party has. Now, in a coalition government, the Prime Minister doesn't have all the power to decide on his own. He also needs to take advice from the alliance party as well as the ministers of the alliance party. He is also answerable to the alliance parties. Whereas in a single party majority government, the Prime Minister has all the power. He can take any decision that he wants to. And having said that, he always needs the green signal from the members of Parliament. So what we understand is, in a single majority party, the Prime Minister has more powers. The Prime Minister can more independently take his decisions. The Council of Ministers include around 60 to 80 ministers of different ranks. These ministers include the cabinet ministers, who are the top level leaders of the ruling party. They take the final decisions on behalf of the Council of Ministers in the cabinet meetings. Ministers of state with independent charge. These are ministers of smaller ministries and they participate in the cabinet only when they are invited. Ministers of state, they assist the cabinet ministers. Now, since it is practically not possible for all the 60 or 80 ministers to come, sit together and take decisions, that is why all such decisions are taken in cabinet meetings where cabinet ministers are present. So this entire cabinet works as a team. The cabinet also has a cabinet secretariat which includes top level civil servants who assist the cabinet ministers to take the right decisions. Who elects the Council of Ministers? So these ministers are appointed by the President of India on advice of the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister can choose any member of Parliament to be a minister. In fact, he can even choose someone who is not a member of Parliament. But in that case, that minister has to get himself elected as a member of Parliament within 6 months from the date of appointment. The President. The way Prime Minister is the head of the country, the President is the head of the states. He has nominal powers when compared to the Prime Minister. The main role of President is to supervise that everything is functioning well in the country. All the MPs and MLAs together elect the President. Let us quickly take a look at the roles of the President. On paper, we see that the President signs on all major important documents. All major appointments are done by the President, be it the Chief Election Commissioner or the Chief Justice of India or even the Prime Minister of the country. All of them are appointed by the President of India. All major policy decisions are taken in the name of the President. All international treaties and agreements are again signed by the President. In fact, the President is the supreme commander of the defense forces. A bill passed by both the houses of the Parliament becomes a law only after it is signed by the President. Now you must be thinking that President has supreme powers. But all of these powers are in the form of signatures on important documents. The President does all of these under the advice of the Council of Ministers. Let us take an example. A bill that is passed by both the houses of the Parliament cannot be rejected by the President. The President can delay it, the President can send it back for reconsideration, but the President cannot reject it. In a similar way, the President cannot appoint anybody and everybody as the Prime Minister of country. The President has to elect the leader of the majority party or the leader who gets majority in the Lok Sabha. So there also the President does what the MPs or the members of Parliament wants. So to summarize, what we understand is the President doesn't have the power to take final decisions. He can only put his suggestions to the government for consideration. The President of India plays one very crucial role. We saw that the President appoints the Prime Minister of the country, who is either the leader of the majority party or the leader who gets majority in Lok Sabha. Now, what if no party gets majority or no coalition gets majority in the Lok Sabha? What happens then? So the President has the right to choose anyone of his choice and appoint him as the Prime Minister with a condition that he will prove majority within a specified period of time. To summarize few very important points that we learnt in this video, the President of India doesn't belong to any political party. He is not a member of Parliament. He heads the legislative. The Prime Minister of the country is a member of the Parliament. In fact, being the leader of the majority party, he becomes the Prime Minister. As a Prime Minister, he is the head of the executive. In a similar way, the ministers are also part of the member of Parliament. They are member of Parliament and they are also part of the executive. I hope you found this video